Okay,
You're gonna
now
receive
I'm
that.
going to ask you a question that I don't know if you've ever been asked this question, but all of us in the field that are not the inventor would like to know, and maybe you can help us answer a question. But do you ever run into skeptical people about your own technology? Like we could bump into a few people that are skeptical, and it seems to me like when you see it in your eyes, they're not as skeptical as maybe a new person that doesn't
Yeah.
have that belief in their eyes or in their voice, the passion in their voice. But do you ever run into skeptical people? You're the inventor, and what can we share with somebody who is skeptical if they would like it to work for them?
Yeah, so what I have found is that the number of skeptics today are pretty minimal compared to where it was when I first started. When I first started, there were huge numbers of skeptics. And, this is really a lesson for anyone that's an entrepreneur. When you know what it is that you're supposed to do with your life, and you have all the evidence to support that, you have to disregard what skeptics and naysayers have to say, and you just have to keep pressing forward. That's the only way you're ever going to make your dreams a reality. In the very early days, if you keep in mind that I was working with nuclear engineers, and then I'm going out and speaking with guys at a gym, and the athletic trainers, nice people, but they're saying, well, I think this is a scam. I don't think this thing works. Like, how did I go from working with nuclear engineers last week to this? I don't get it. So, but it's all fine. What it meant was, okay, let's come up with a plan. Let's get as many clinical studies done as possible. Let's work with doctors in using this. Let's work with athletes, get some testimonials from them. And then over time, build up the case where people are saying, yeah, okay, this thing is actually working. So when I would say I don't really run into skeptics so much today as people really wanting to know, well, how is this possible? This company's been in business 20 years, over 80 clinical studies, over 150 patents. So it's more of, I don't understand how this technology could work. Explain it to me. So I've met at this point with many medical doctors, scientists, and they've all been extraordinarily impressed with our work. In fact, I'm not allowed to mention his name at the moment because I'm under confidentiality, but there is a very well-known PhD in the United States who is on the board of a well-known medical journal who I went back and forth for months with him. And he was extremely skeptical. But to his credit, he said, okay, I'll evaluate the clinical studies. And he eventually came back. It took, I think, 4 months. He eventually came back and he said, I reviewed your clinical studies, and your clinical studies support every single claim you make about X39. So, sometimes takes a little while. But the fact of the matter is that we have the evidence there. So, we're not going to get everyone as a customer or a brand partner. And sometimes it's best just to move on to someone else. But if someone is willing to take the time and look into what it is that we have, what they'll find is that our clinical studies absolutely support the claims that we make about our products.